Last week, I told you guys in my October financial reset that I was still waiting to close out my September budget. And then once I was done with that, I would show it to you. So today we are going to go ahead and close out our September budget. And I'm going to show you everything that we spent in September. We are just going to jump right into it. I don't want to waste your time very much here. Overall, our budgeted income amount that we expected in September was $16,744. Our actual income ended up being $17,648. Now, we do not actually bring that in from our jobs. We are right now rolling in $5,000 a month from another savings account that we need to invest that money. So we're investing $5,000 a month until that savings is depleted. I will put a video right here explaining all of that for you. But the $5,000 is included in our income because we're transferring it from another savings. I also had $1,500 that was transferred in because we made $107 at a garage sale, and then I got $1,400 in a reimbursement from a child care credit that I get through my job. So if you are not counting the $5,000 transfer and the $1,500 that we got in by other means, our actual income is around like $10,900. So we do not actually make $17,000, although that would be really cool. No, we're more like $10,000. We are still good earners though, but I just wanted to give you guys that. If you're new here and you're not sure how we got that much money a month, that is why. So we budgeted to spend $16,669.71. We actually ended up spending $16,464.47, which means we had $205.24 left over. That we just rolled over into the new month here, and we're actually going to end up putting that towards the student loans, but it's just going to happen in October instead of September. We went ahead and paid our mortgage, so that was zeroed out because we knew the exact amount. My car payment, we also zeroed that one out. Daycare, we spent $1,751.86. For our power and gas, we were at $179. For water payment, we were at $41.92. Internet was $94.46. Sewer and trash, I had to pay this in September instead of August because they changed their system and I couldn't get into it. So I was able to get into it in September. So really that money was just rolled over from August into September, and then I just had to pay it. Insurance is $161.66. Shout out to my husband who did his regular insurance calling around and trying to find us a better deal for insurance. So our insurance payment is now going to be $107 a month instead of $161. So that will start in Actually, that started here in October. So for October, our insurance will now be lower than $161. So pretty excited about that. We are also going through the process of getting our PMI on our current house removed because our house is worth more than what it was when we purchased it. So that means that we are at the 20% threshold. We're beyond it. But so then we can get our PMI removed. That will also save us $100 a month. For groceries, we spent $972.83 and we budgeted $800. So that is, we knew that we needed to kind of get our groceries together. So moving into the new month here, we have a new plan and we're figuring out a better way of handling our groceries to ensure that we are staying within budget. For the TP fund, we spent $41.17. We spent $31.02 for our son. I definitely forgot to put our gas in here, but our gas was only 18 cents out of the 50. So we only spent 18 cents on that. If you're wondering how we spent the 18 cents, you can watch my most recent What I Spent in a Week, and I explain there how we only spent 18 cents for an entire tank of gas. For fun, we spent $34.41. We did not spend anything for pets, but we did have to get her dog food here in October, so you'll see that. For subscriptions, we spent $111.15. As I've said before, I'm slowly working on knocking this down so that we're getting under $100 or even closer to like $70 for subscriptions. So I do still need to go into the YMCA and cancel my subscription for there. That is automatically a $48 a month subscription, so we will get rid of that. For my husband's gas station runs, because he stops at gas stations while he's working on the road, he spent $80.91. For his lunches, he spent $265.77. He prefers to eat out for his lunches, and he does not take stuff to eat. We are also working on that one for him. And then for eating out, yeah, we completely obliterated this one too at $297.23. Unfortunately, this is also part of my husband's doing, because when my son and I would be home earlier, we would already eat. If my husband worked late, he would stop and get something out to eat for dinner and bring it home. So I just counted that as eating out and not towards his lunches. He is not all of it though. I definitely ate out too. My husband and I got invited to my husband's high school reunion in September. So we ended up going there and we spent $82. It was at a restaurant/bar type thing. So I know that usually you would prepare for that, but since it was my husband who was invited and he wasn't even sure if we could go, I did not know about it until kind of last minute. So we went, but I knew that we didn't spend anything in our unexpected category. So I did put this in the eating out category instead of unexpected, and I just figured it was a wash since we didn't spend anything in unexpected. So $80 of the $147 that we went over in eating out was because of this high school reunion that we attended. So I just wanted to pop in and say that. We did not spend anything in unexpected. We spent $48.24 of our $50 for miscellaneous spending. I took all of the money out of holiday, and I was going to get some stuff potentially for fall, but I ended up choosing to not do anything for that. And I just kind of did stuff with the crafts that I had on hand and the decor that I already had for fall and Halloween. And so my son thinks it's really fun to kind of decorate with me and whatnot. But right now in our lives, we are very much in the era of we're not going for aesthetics, and we're going for cute and fun and just kind of magical for our son. And I will have my aesthetic household someday when he is all grown. But for right now, I'm enjoying kind of decorating on his terms. For projects, I planned for $500. That was to redo this office here. I bought a desk and I painted everything, and then we bought some chandeliers for in here. So we planned on $500 and we spent $558.23. I also got a rug. The rug was the big part of it. That was kind of the most expensive piece, but I knew I wanted to get a decent rug because I didn't want something really cheap, especially with my son and my dog and everything. I wanted to make sure I got something that was good quality so that the rug would last. The way that this new budget template is set up, I have my vacation and my tires already set in here because I'm using them for October. So those are just in here, but I have them set for $0. For savings, we planned on saving $500 and we saved $500. For investments, we invested the $5,000. And then for my student loans, we put $3,900 towards my student loans. My payments in September for my student loans brought my student loans down to $32,000. So we are so close to being under the $30,000 mark, and I'm so excited about that. I calculated where we're at debt-wise, and this year alone, in the 9 months from January to September, we have paid off $26,000 worth of debt. So I'm pretty sure that we are going to hit $40,000 before the 1 year mark, which means that we will potentially be paying off $40,000 of debt in 1 year. So we're making really good progress there on our debts. And I think that we're getting a good groove here in October for potentially decreasing our grocery bill. I'm trying out Aldi and some other cheaper options for groceries, but I do still want to go to Hy-Vee, which is where my other grocery store is that I usually spend a lot of money at, because they have that fuel saver. So I really do enjoy being able to save the money on the gas. So I just kind of have to be strategic about which grocery stores I'm shopping at, and I don't want to be running to 4 different grocery stores just to get my groceries for the week. But we're just kind of trying to figure out, get through that. For our expenses, we had budgeted 28% of our income for our fixed expenses. So we were right at 28.08, so just slightly over for that. For our variable expenses, we budgeted for 14% of our income and we were at 14.83. We saved 3% of our income. I have said this before, but we already had our savings pretty much to a point where we liked it and wanted to keep it. So that's why we just haven't really been saving a lot and we've been focusing more on debt. For investments, we invested 30% of our income. And for the student loans, we had planned to put 25% towards it. I will finish out this, because I've only put $3,900, I will finish that out in October. So not too bad for September. Although we did kind of go over in a couple categories, we still stayed within our actual like overall budgeted amount. And that is kind of where my goal is to stay. I just like to push myself and challenge myself to not eat out as much and not spend as much at the grocery store. But I'm noticing that food is a big expense for us, and we're doing our best. We're trying. It is a lot better than it was last year at this time, but we still have some work to do. And I don't want to keep increasing my grocery budget and increasing my eating out budget. I would rather just try to cut back on it, because if I'm increasing it and then we go over, like, I don't want to keep having to increase it every month because we're not staying on track. And I'd rather continuously try to find ways to improve it, if that makes sense. So that is everything that we spent in September. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you've got your budgets all cleared out for September and you're prepped and ready to go for October, because we're a couple days in here, and I just want to make sure that everyone still feels motivated to get their budget going and just track your spending and everything like that, because that is where you are going to find extra money to put towards savings or debt payoff or whatever your goal is. Budgeting is the way to go to ensure that you are staying on those financial goals. Thank you so much for being here. I know I always say it, but I'm just very grateful that you guys are here sticking around, watching my videos, and hopefully you're finding some inspiration from them. And I will see you in my next video.